Hi, so everyone was asking yesterday in Sabbath school, what is the best way, or what's one great way that we can get more money back for the churches? Gift aid is a great way to do that. What is gift aid? It is a scheme enabling registered charities to reclaim tax on a donation made by a UK taxpayer. So how does this work? So it adds 25% to the value of the donation given. And as you can see here, so if you gave £100, we'd be able to claim £25, and £125 would be given back to the church. And this includes all donations. So it can be backclaimed up to 4 years. So if you joined Gift Aid today, and you know that you've been paying enough tax for the last 4 years, you can tick that on the form, and we can also claim that. So your church will benefit from the past 4 years if you are able to do that. How do you qualify? You just need to be a UK taxpayer and have a valid postcode. So how does this work? You'll need to have one of these forms, and so for the SEC, we'll need you to have one of these forms, and it's just really essential for it to be filled in correctly. So we have also the church at the top. So often this is left off. So often we don't know what church it is. There's 4 boxes. You just need to also fill in what is most applicable to you. Oftentimes people don't read it. They tick all 4 boxes, and I have no clue what actually they would like me to do. So please just make sure that these forms are filled in correctly. And once this is done, I'll issue you with a gift aid number and send that back to you. And so it's just important to make sure that this gift aid number is included on the tithe envelopes that you give. Now, most people will give their tithe in a tithe envelope, but also anything that you give, whether it's offering, any other donations that you decide, just make sure it's in a tithe envelope and your gift aid number is on there so it can be claimed.
Kerri, just want to say that I think for the NEC also the same practice. They have their form. So the members, fill their form and then send it to Sister Joycelyn, and she issues them a gift aid number. Same thing with the missions also. We have forms, and the churches send us the form, and we issue them a gift aid number. The same practice. Yeah?
Okay, great. I was just going to add that if you don't put your offering in a gift aid, in a tithe envelope, all is not completely lost, because we also have the gift aid small donation scheme. Mm-hmm. So the Sabbath school offering and the church offering is also gift aided, but obviously you'll get more if you do put it in an envelope. This
is different from the normal gift aid system. This is gift aid on the small donation. Can be claimed on the loose offering.
Yes,
and the maximum we can claim in a tax year is £8,000 per church. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So please don't miss that. I think in the missions, we're using it quite effectively, and want to encourage. I think there are churches in the SEC already doing it.
Yeah.
And the NEC, are you guys?
We're trying to establish it.
Please do that, because £8,000 on top of what you get from the normal gift aid system, helps the churches a lot.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly add with that, it's £8,000 per church. However, if you have more than one church in the same building, you're sharing that £8,000. So if, for example, I know we had that with the Advent Centre or Newbold, places where you have more than one church under one postcode, it will then be £8,000 for all of the churches that are under there. So just to be mindful of that as well.
If I change churches and I move to another church, will my gift aid automatically go to my new church?
Oh yeah, I was going to come to that, but I can answer that now. Oftentimes people think that when they move their church membership, that everything's moved over, their gift aid is moved over as well. It's not. If you move church and you'd like your gift aid to be going to this new church, maybe they're doing a building project, whatever it may be, just contact the conference and I can give you a new number for that. If you can have as many gift aid numbers as you like.
Multiple gift aid numbers.
Yeah, you can have as many as you like. But if you are no longer using one, just please let us know and I can make it inactive and you can only have the one that's relevant to you. Please let me know as well if you're moving house, moving abroad, so your number can be made inactive and your treasurers can have, the treasurers can have updated lists, because oftentimes you have lots of people on there also who have died, who have moved away. So just so we can keep that up to date, just make sure that the members, sorry, I thought there was a question being asked. I will also ask if people could let us know when they are no longer paying any tax, because this is a key thing. There are lots of people who are no longer paying tax, and they don't let us know, and we continue to claim gift aid. And the HMRC realised that actually this person isn't paying tax, it's being claimed, and they are fitted with a bill of what has been claimed. Now, we have had that situation. The SEC has been reimbursing people because they'll have to pay it and get it reimbursed. But we just really need to avoid this at all costs. So please find out from members. Please just let members know if you are no longer paying tax, please let us know so that number can be made inactive.
Question? Yes, sister.
Just a quick question. If you say you can move from church to church with your gift aid, can you move from conference to conference with your gift aid?
No, you have to sign in a new gift aid declaration.
Yeah.
What if you've got a pause in employment, etc., if you're on maternity for a long time, but you plan to return to work, do you deactivate the number during that time, or?
If you're not paying enough tax to cover what you may be giving, then yes, we'll need to make that inactive for that time, because there will be a time where that will be a lot lower than what you would usually be claiming back. So I would say yes, please let us know. And for that period, there are people who will just say, for the time being, please make it inactive, and we'll just reinstate it when that time comes.
We have a few more slides, and then we'll take question and answers. Is that okay? Just a few more slides, and then we'll come back to question and answers. Okay, here is a graph. We can see, for last 5 years of the gift aid claims, which we have made for the SEC. Before 2010, we used to claim up to 6 years. But from our 2011 onward, the HMRC has changed their rules, and we are claiming only 4 years. We can go backdate only 4 years. So you can see the God is blessing, us, in the form of gift aid, which is then used. I'll later explain, how the gift aid is being used in the slides which are, coming up. So this is for the SEC. And then we have the NEC here. We can see a big, jump in 2016. They've done well in 2016 for their gift aid. Let's give them a round of applause for that. Mr. Joycelyn, thank you very much for your hard work. Thank you. So how is gift aid used? I'm just sharing the SEC, example here. So in 2016, I'm not sharing 2017 figures yet because they're not audited yet, so I can't share the figures yet. So for 2016, SEC had over 2.5 million pounds in gift aid. 2.5 million. Amen? Amen? So how this is being used? So 40% of this is used for the church purchases, grants, and building projects throughout the SEC. Any refurbishment, buying new buildings is being used from this 40%, which goes into a special pot. We, from where we use, to buy and refurbish. If your church needs any, help in, refurbishing, or if there is some roof needs repairing, you apply to your respective conferences, and there is a procedure. They follow it, and then they help from this account. 15% in the SEC goes to the local area district. And then 45% of the gift aid goes back directly to your gift aid accounts. At SEC, we call it trust accounts. Okay. Then we can see, how, throughout our British Union, in our different conferences, missions, we were able to buy new churches. We were able to refurbish new churches. We can see on top Chiswick Church, nicely refurbished. And then we have Swansea Church and one in Scotland. We can see churches here. And we can see here on top we have Stanborough Church, Stanborough Park Church. Wedley is here. Wedley is the treasurer for the Stanborough Park Church. I'm just going to give him a minute so he can just briefly share about the experience and how they use the gift aid and all that effectively.
Hi, I wasn't actually expecting to have to stand here, so I'm feeling quite casual, but it's a Sunday, so I think I'll be allowed. The story with Stanborough Park Church, just in 1 or 2 minutes, it started over 16 years ago when we went into a development project that almost, or pretty much doubled the size of the site. So it gave us a lot of new ancillary rooms. Then, so we went through that project, paid off all the liabilities from that, and then 2 or 3 years ago, we had another step. The church was getting quite old and tired, so we went through a refurbishment project. Now, this refurbishment was a big deal. It was a big refurbishment, right from the sanctuary all the way to the new extension, all the ancillary rooms. So it was a big deal, and it did cost a lot of money. To fund this, we used a combination of donations, loans, and gift aid. Now, in the latest 12 months of gift aids that we received over £73,000 just in gift aid. It is a huge amount of money. And when we've undertaken such a big project, it went a long, long way to helping the church meet its liabilities. And what we do for this is that we encourage our membership to donate as much as possible in envelopes. Yes, it means we're writing more receipts, but everything that goes into an envelope that is eligible for gift aid, we're getting those gift aid reversions back, and it's going a long way towards this development project. Now, the beauty of the site isn't that it looks brilliant now. It's not that we have so much space and ancillary rooms for activities. It's the fact that it is open 7 days a week. We have our ministries, our departments can use the site freely. They come in, they use the rooms all throughout the week. But what's the more important thing for us is that we have over 300 regular clients that we invoiced in the last 12 months. The reason that's good is that most of these people are from the community. We run things like Senior Club every other week, and 90% of that Senior Club are members from the community. They're not our church members. We run things like toddler groups twice a week, and 90% of the people coming through the toddler group are people from the community, not our church members. Last week alone, there were 5 new families from the community that were attending toddler group that ended up going to the messy church that was run last week. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. One of our biggest customers is the NHS. They use the rooms for training, for other reasons. They have lots of different departments in their organisation, and they use our rooms. They're in there every single week using our facilities. So Stanborough Church really has become a beacon in our community, and one of the biggest reasons for this is what we've been able to get back in gift aid. It's amazing.
Thank you very much, Wedley. Wedley Aguirre is also the Associate Treasurer for the Trans-European Division, and also, a treasurer for the Stanborough Park Church. Thank you, Wedley. And also we can see down, the pictures from North England Conference, and I would like to call Brother Charles to please share, about the story of their gift aid.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is a praise story. Let me start with the building on the right. The building on the right is actually a church in Liverpool North. We used to call it Stoney Croft. That gives me a lot of pleasure because when I came into office, not long, in fact, it was just after some months of being in office, last year, I had an email and had a telephone conversation with the treasurer from Stoney Croft. And basically, that's an ex-Jehovah's Witness building that was on sale for over 2 years, of which the church knew nothing until about when it was ready to go on auction. They discovered a member going that way, just happened to see a sign, church building will be an auction. To cut a long story short, immediately we were told not just the fact that it was an auction, but that it was priced at an unbelievable price. in that they were expecting originally 140 plus thousand. Well, God, in his most miraculous way, when I went and I saw the building, is what you would describe as a turnkey purchase. You would buy it Thursday and you will do church Sabbath. Because it had chairs in it. It was clean. I tell you what, we can learn a lot from our friends the JWs. Their church was immaculately clean. To cut a long story short, after negotiation, we purchased the building and the chairs for 87,500. They had gift aid. We were able to use their gift aid. And they also had some good monies in their bank. And with a bit of help from ourselves and support from the BUC, the purchase was made literally within a couple of months. Signs, they're worshiping there now. If you get a chance, whether you're from the north or the south, it's Liverpool North, beautiful, beautiful church building. And God has been so wonderful. He has provided a way by the neighbors to allow them to have sufficient parking, which they pay for, but is available for Sabbaths. Wonderful. The building, what you can see on your left is probably a familiar picture to many of you. It's Aberdeen. And we're not able to show you exactly the land area that we've purchased, but those from the north will know that this is a collaborative between all of our churches. Basically, we quickly learned that the neighbor was selling 24 acres of land. We, the NEC, as you know, did not have the money to make the purchase. But thank God we have churches who had trust funds. And we, after some negotiations and meetings with pastors and then with elders and then representatives from all the churches, we came up with a solution that if you had a credit in your gift aid account at the end of 2016, if you gave us, each church allowed us to use 25% of that balance, it will enable us to buy the land. The land was about in total 270,000 for almost 24 acres of land in Aberdeen. When we spoke to the churches, it became a no-brainer. We worked together. God blessed us with your resource and a bit from the BUC and a bit from ourselves, and we've made the purchase. It's all signed, sealed, and ours. Thank God. Okay? Gift aid.
Thank you, Elder Charles. Just want to recap as we close, and then we'll take some question and answers. Please promote gift aid in your churches. If you need any help, from your respective conferences, please get in touch with Elder Sean, Elder Charles, and their teams. They can come down to do a presentation. You're always welcome to ask, the British Union also. We can be there, in the missions, north, south, wherever you need us. We can come and promote gift aid awareness in your churches. And please encourage your, existing members to donate. Every donation, whether that is their tithe and offering or donation for a specific project, through gift aid envelope. Use envelope so the gift aid can be claimed on every donation your gift aid member is donating. Thank you very much. If we have some questions, is Mike here? So, yeah. So there is a question here, and then there, Mike. Yeah, okay.
Hi. The new church plants we have around the conferences, are they able to participate in gift aid, church plants? Or is it only open to local or actual organized congregations?
What the system is, that, the church plant, if they're just a plant at the moment, they have to report it to their mother church. So all the tithe and offering, they receive in their plant need to report it to their mother church until they are organized as a company. Once you're organized as a company, correct me Earl if I'm wrong here, if they're organized as a company, then we can treat them as an independent, group. Because as a plant, they have to report it to their mother church.
At least in the south, and Charles managed to say, but once you're formally recognised by the conference, then you can be set up separately. But it needs to go through the conference, but either south or North England Conference committees first, and then the Treasury departments will start to look to disseminate the materials so you can process yourself. You need to be authorised by the conferences committee.
Yeah, I think it's very, very important for new plant churches. Don't rush things, no matter how eager you are, because there have been situations where things haven't been well thought through. You start with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, and then in a matter of less than a year, on occasion, some things have not worked through. So just think, and obviously we're always thinking about the long term, but work with the conference, work with, so that we can establish that you are sound and a going concern for the future. Then we'll get everything, okay?
Yes.
This one.
Thank you. I heard what the gentleman said about Stanborough Park Church being used for community activities. So I see that as outreach. The question I want to know is whether we may use the gift aid for evangelism. Do we make a distinction between evangelism and outreach?
The primary use for any funds that we have, tithe or other funds, primary use will always be first and foremost for evangelism. Yes, most definitely.
I'll come to you later. There's a question here.
Everywhere. I don't know any committee that wouldn't agree with that.
Just wanted to ask, is there a way to reconcile the gift aid account? Because at the moment, all we're receiving is an annual amount received from the SEC for the year. But how do we, as treasurers, reconcile that account to say that the money we received is actually correct?
Yeah, you can get in touch with Kerri and the team, Candy. They can organize, a meeting with you. They can go through the yearly claims which they have done, and then they can show you the percentage which goes into their trust account. Yes, that can be done.
That's a very good question. A few of our treasurers in the north, quite clever, I'll tell you, they keep you on your toes. They know what they should be getting back for their gift aid based on every report they send in. And you know what? That's good. You know what the formula is? The formula is 25%, and then that 25% is then divided into 40% the conference NEC keeps for projects that we use to support local churches. Then the 60% at the moment goes back to the church. And we have sent back reports. And how much? Okay. No. It used to be, just a minute, it used to be 45 because some of it, yes, used to go to the area, the district, okay? Just before I got there, that was not happening consistently. So we've left it at 60 because this is North England Conference, NEC. Okay, this is the North England Conference. Okay, listen, at least whether you think it's 45 or 60, you should know what to expect for the month of February based on the report you have sent us with gift aid. Are you with me? So one of the things you can do is hold us to account by saying, I've already calculated, like some of my churches do, what my portion of the gift aid should be. You check your report and you see, are we close to it? Don't ring us if it's only £1 out. But if it's significantly out, please ask the question, because sometimes there is a little bit of a gap, or we make human mistakes where a particular name or an amount was not. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a good way of making sure the local treasurer reconciles with us at least what they should be expecting. Okay?
It is not always as black and white as that, because sometimes you have unpaid checks. Sometimes within that list, you have people who, well, they're not on gift aid. Maybe they're off gift aid, but for somehow the treasurer keep putting their name that there. So it's not always.
Well, that's what the whole point is. The whole point is reconciliation is about reconciling the difference.
Just move on.
And so if you have sent reports that is expecting £200, if you don't get £200, just call us. And we will explain there was a return check. We will explain somebody actually wasn't on gift aid. Although I don't know why they have a number if they're not on gift aid. But you
Becky's
understand
got
what I'm
a
saying?
question.
So,
Becky at the back. After.
Okay, what we'll do now, if you can hold the rest of your questions, we just want to finish the last two presentations. We're going to keep them short so we can have a long Q&A section, yeah? If you don't mind. What I'm also going to ask with your permission, if you don't mind, if we can forego the break now so we can carry on, and I'll give you a longer break this afternoon. You can have as much. Okay, Star, are you in the room, Star? Okay, because no, I don't want to say it now because they will rush up.
Okay.
Yeah, as Star comes up, one of the challenges we have is that as treasurers, the local treasurers, this is, you are mandated to be in charge, responsible for all finances of your within the remit of your local congregation.